I'm so nervous. I'm so excited. Oh, uh, I'm just. Oh man, I was getting ready to go outside and get some photos of the garden, but I think I'll do that tomorrow. It's been raining all day here in Maryland, or parts of Maryland, Baltimore City being one of them, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Definitely getting some firewood because it feels warm in here now. It's 46 degrees today. I got the fireplace going. Feels good. Um, I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna go to Home Depot and get some firewood because I'm down to 10 bags, or 10 40-pound bags, and I like to keep as much on hand as possible because I learned a valuable lesson when I bought my pellet stove, and it works like this. Once the weather changes, people start going and buying truckloads of this firewood, and well, pellets firewood, same thing, burns like wood, and it burns. People come in and get it, and they buy all they can, and the stores order them in 2 week intervals. And that's what was told to me by one of the employees. Is that when it runs out, we order some. It takes about 2 weeks, and so if I keep some on hand, I will always have some here. Only thing I don't like about heating with pellets is that the price went up on the pellets to 5.18 a bag, and it used to be something like $4.30 some cents a bag. So now that it's becoming popular, and or they feel that the market will stand this type of you know purchase, then that's what they're doing. They're marking the prices up. Now everything's went up. Of course, we look at seeds that went up. We're talking about that. We're talking about also the cost of soil amendments. They got something called a soil conditioner, which I don't buy into that because I say, why get all these beautiful leaves that drop in the fall and you bag them up and throw them away, and then you go to the store at $4 and I think $4.98 or something like that, and you buy um, the bags back again. Been processed. All they did was stir them around and mix them up and let them decay, and then they sell it right back to you. I mean, it's really sad. People will actually throw their own leaves away. Um, you don't do that. Leaves are for your garden. You pile them up at least about 2 feet deep, and once you put them in the garden, by spring they'll be about 6 inches deep, and you just pull them to the side and plant right there. All winter long, you've created like a compost tea, and it is in the ground and it is doing fine. Your garden is fertilizing itself on a normal schedule like it's supposed to. You know, clay soils, very heavy soils. You have to add certain amendments with them. Okay, okay, pellets. I guess I think what you're asking me here is what are they used for? What are they? It basically is a byproduct of it was supposed to be a byproduct of the industry where they process a lot of wood, and it's actually just sawdust pressed into these little looks like little capsules, and they claim quote unquote to be hardwood, and they got better grades of the pellets. One is a cheaper grade, which is about $5.18, 40-pound bag, all the way up to about 8 or 9 or $10 a bag, 40-pound bag. Some are hardwood, some are partially hardwood, some are just regular uh, uh, wood, and it doesn't last as long. And they always claim on the bag it says low ash, whatever that means, because you could burn about a ton of it and get about a 40-pound bag of ash. It really burns wood all the way down to its, uh, it's nothing there but powder. So a 40-pound bag might make a 16-ounce cup of powder, maybe not that much. Yeah. No. It won't be that much. No, it's about a quarter of that 16-ounce cup. It burns it down. Uses a lot of air on the wood. The way it's set up to run it, it pulls fresh air from the outside, brings it in, um, and it just burns so efficiently. Now, right now, I've been running mine all day. Um, I filled up. It probably will run up to about four in the a.m. and then it'll be out of pellets. So no big deal. I mean, $5 a day, and I'm running it all day, almost into the next day. Um, Keep the stove clean. That's the only thing. Keep the stove clean. I believe in that. I keep my stove clean because it burns better. It burns hotter when you keep it clean. There are a number of things you got to do with the stove. Clean the glass. The glass of mine stays clean because I keep a old paintbrush around and I always brush the glass real good. If I really want to get really technical with it, I would spray it down with a glass cleaner and clean the inside and outside of the glass. But I wipe the stove down, clean the glass because I like looking at the fire sometimes. The one I have, I got from Comfort Built. It's in North Carolina, located in North Carolina. Comfort Built, and they sold me a stove. I don't know how many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and it's been working ever since. And I had nothing liquor trouble out of it. It's got a remote to it. Oh yeah, the remote is fun too. Plus, you can set the timer on it. So let's say you say I'm going to sleep tonight. I want to I wanted to cut off in 4 hours. You just set it for 4 hours, and in 4 hours it'll stop feeding pellets, and it'll cut off, and then the regular furnace will click on because the temperature is starting to drop in the room. And once that takes place, you now have a stove that is 50,000 BTUs. They go the ones I've seen, the bigger ones are 70,000 BTUs. They will run you out of the house basically. If you got a tight house, they'll run you out of there if you cut it up too high. Mine stays on the lowest setting, which is two. Goes over to five, the setting. But you cut it on five, you won't be able to stay in the house. Cut it on four, you won't be able to stay in the house. I did it one time. Came downstairs, it was 85 degrees in the house. I had to force myself to get to the. That's when I first bought it. When I first bought the pellet stove, I forced myself to get to the door. I opened the back door and the front door wide open to let some of that heat out. And then I could make my way over to the stove, and then I cut it down to two or one. I think it was two. Once I got it down, then I said, okay, I'll never do that again. That was when I first bought the stove. Maybe my second day I had it. I wanted to see what will it do, and I found out it'll run you out of the house. But I love the stove. I love the stove. I'm glad it was one of my smartest investments I made in my life. It definitely worth what I paid for it. Now the stove, you can't get it for $1,000 now. You cannot get that stove for that. Buying them on Craigslist, I don't know. I've heard about them stoves. They kind of burn up, and then you don't know what condition they're in because people had it for years. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so I mean, I can go on and on about the pellet stove, but I don't want to do that. But I use the ashes from the pellet stove, and I sprinkle the ashes over the soil. It takes 2 years of using the stove, burning about a ton of wood of winter. And people say, well, I used to own one that burned. It took 2 tons. It don't take 2 tons. Not the one I have. They make them more efficient now. Um, but the ashes I put across the soil, and it made the soil better in that location. So I said, wait a minute, I'm on to something because the plants were twice the size of the ones that were grown in areas where I didn't sprinkle the ash. And I found that quite interesting. Um, Interesting. I mean, it was interesting. I'm thinking about that now because the plants were big and beautiful when it came in the spring, all because behind the ashes, all behind the ashes. Beautiful. So now what I do now is I pay attention to you know the stove because it's just a beautiful thing to have nice warm house. Now right now my house is beautifully temperature right now, and the furnace is off. It is completely off, and I'm saving money on not running BG&E electricity, which is here in Maryland, the Baltimore Gas and Electric Company. But it's off. It's off, and I love it. But my garden is doing good. I'm gonna go to Home Depot and check and see what other items they may have on sale. Because when the winter is here, all my garden items I buy them in the dead of winter. And I guess I'm not the only one doing that, because when I went there, someone bought up all of the bone meal. Yeah, bone meal, and they bought a lot of blood meal too. Because I mean, you imagine they were $7 a bag, and they were $2. They were about $1.90 a bag, and somebody grabbed as much as they wanted, and I came in and did the rest. But if I'd have got there earlier, I have a Jeep. I'd have filled that Jeep up full of compost. I mean, excuse me, not compost. But I am going up there to get some compost. I keep contemplating on, do I want? I got to go get some firewood, but I'm thinking, will my Jeep carry 800 pounds of material? I'm one of them people, I don't like to stress my vehicle. But then I thought about, if you had two people in the back that was good, healthy adults, they would be about 400 pounds there. Someone sitting next to you, that's about 600 pounds, plus yourself, 7, 8. That's 800 pounds of people in the car. So the Jeep is designed to carry that, but I mean, that's a lot of weight you put in there. Then I gotta get it home and empty everything out, and it's going to be raining when I get back. So that means my Jeep is going to be full of materials. So I might actually wait on that. I might wait on that because it's supposed to rain today here and also Saturday. So I don't know if I'm going to if I'm gonna be able to do that today. I mean, I don't want to. Wait a minute. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm not doing that today. I'm just getting over a sprained ankle. It's just feeling good today. So I'm not. No, I'm not gonna tax it like that. I know I feel better, but all you need to do is put too much weight on that ankle, and it'll set it back, and then I'll be suffering while I'm at work again. No, I don't. I don't think I want to do that. Okay, decision made right here on YouTube. The Morning Garden decided not to go get firewood today, and also to leave the compost up there. I want to get the compost because it's sitting at the store and it's aging. It's actually getting better. So I think I want to get the compost before spring sets in. I'm going to get 10 bags, 10 40-pound bags. That should be enough for me. And if I need more, I'll just go ahead and hit the store again. Question about. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you can put hello. You can put leaves. Let me explain this to you. This is what I want to explain to you. Leaves you lay on top of the soil. They're natural. Nature does it every year for millions of years. That's the way it works. As long as those leaves aren't covering up your plants that you're trying to grow, you're fine. You can put down leaves. Leaves, see, right here in Maryland right now, we're almost out of leaves because I've seen each day I would go out to work, I would see bags of leaves that people are setting at the curb. So pretty much all the leaves are falling from the trees here. When it first falls and you get ample a number of leaves, those are a beautiful thing. It's a gift. It's best fertilizer on earth. One of them. Let me reiterate that. One of them. You lay them on your garden. You do not dig them in. You do not till them in. You lay them on the garden. When spring comes, if you still have some there, you pull them to the side. You put the plant in, and your garden will grow like crazy. It is natural. It is powerful stuff because it does everything by the book. That's what leaves do. It feeds your garden by the book, the way nature intended. Leaves are not going to harm your garden at all. You put them down and you enjoy the fact that your garden is well fed. It starts in the fall. When the leaves start falling, it creates a compost tea once they start decaying. Now, compost, and especially compost tea, is very good for your ground. It feeds the biology in the soil. And the biology in the soil is what is responsible for you having healthy soil. And when you have healthy soil, you actually have healthy plants. You feed the soil. Always feed the soil. Always feed just the soil. And you'll be happy. The soil will be happy. Your plants will be happy. That's how it works. Let's see now. I have a water drums out there. I'm gonna let that fill up. As soon as it get near March, I'll start letting those fill up. Get about 100 gallons of water. Keep it on hand all the time. And my pump is a Sure pump. I'm gonna have to replace it very soon because it's starting to act crazy. It's after well, 4 years old. It's starting to not pump as well as it did. But I'm still gonna get the 100 psi pump when I get it. That's the one I want. That's the one that does the job. And that's how you do that. You don't get something under what you already gotten used to. I want my 100 psi pump so I can spray it from one end of the yard to the other and put it on it, hook it up to a 100-foot hose and feed my plants. Give them a good drink of water, of water that's intended for them, rain water. That's how you do that thing. That's how you do it. You don't play around and be messing around with, I'm going to give it water from my house when you know that rainwater is better. I've been talking about this for weeks and weeks and weeks now. I'm trying to get everybody, prepped up and make sure that you're doing it about cost this year. Don't spend a whole boatload of money in your garden because you don't have to. You do not have to. If you started out like I did with the leaves, when the spring comes and the grass starts getting crazy, then you're going to take your grass, you're going to cut it, you're going to bag it up, you're going to put it in a receptacle, a 32-gallon trash can or a 5-gallon trash can or whatever, or a 5-gallon bucket, whatever you have, and you put some water in there with it, and you let it sit. And it's going to create this beautiful, 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 beautiful tea. And then you're going to take that tea, you're going to mix it 1 part to 10 parts water. And that's how you're going to mix it down. Don't deviate from that. If you use it for seedlings, you're going to do 1 part to 20 parts water. That's how you're going to do that deal. That's how you're going to do it. Make sure that you keep it natural, because your plants don't know the difference between a box store or if you're doing it natural. But naturally, it's going to respond better. Your plants are going to be bigger and healthier plants. And so will your wallet. Your money will stay in your wallet. That's what you want to do. keep your money in your wallet. Grow sweet tomatoes, not chemically aftertaste in your tomatoes from using stuff like Miracle Grow that I've used. It makes my tomatoes taste like a metallic kind of taste. I don't want that. Plus, when your food grows extremely fast, the bugs love it because they know those plants are way too tender to be out there in that environment. So they stretch out and they grow real, real, real fast. And when that happens, you have a problem with bugs eating the plants because they're not growing the natural way they should grow. They're growing too fast. Another thing is when you use certain fertilizers, especially man-made fertilizers, they begin to salt your soil. And once that happens, um, you can have a problem with growing things in that location in the future. A number of years of using these chemical fertilizers, they will salt your soil, so to speak. Oh, okay, okay, and So there's a person that wrote some material and decided that people need to know this. Here's what I want to tell you is this. and this is how it works. If you grow your vegetables and your fruit, thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. If you grow your vegetables using natural process, leaves, compost leaves, the same thing. If you decide to use cow dung, your tomatoes have a greater opportunity to be sweeter. Your cucumbers, your blackberries, if you will, sweeter. Think about that. Grapes, sweeter. And when that takes place, your plants are healthier. What you want to do is when you decide on when you're going to pick them, stop watering the tomatoes for about a week. And when you do that, the flavors in the tomatoes will concentrate. And there'll be a much more flavorful tomato, especially if you're making sauces from them. And same thing goes for cucumbers, same thing goes for squash, that sort of thing. Once you get ready to pull the tomatoes or harvest the tomatoes, however you want to call it, stop watering for about a week and you'll get a much more flavorful piece of fruit. The watermelons, natural water, feed them. Sandy soil, they like sandy soil. So if you got clay soil, mix a small amount of playground sand in your soil in the location where you're planting the watermelon, and the roots will be able to expand outward. The plants that excuse me, that man cultivated, they are not as strong as natural plants. Natural plants are plants we call like weeds. And weed is simply a name for a plant that we really don't have a use for at that moment, or we don't understand what the name of it is. So we call it weeds, just a generalization for plants. But the plant is strong. You could lay a tarp over it for a year, 18 years. Take the tarp off, and the very seeds that are there from that weed will start growing again. That is definitely a plant that's determined to survive. Weed killers, don't kill them. If you spray Roundup on weeds for that year, next year or the second year, you have to use something different because they will adapt to it and it won't affect them as much. So you got to keep switching backwards and forward to one poison to another. But I recommend you don't use poisons. If you're going to use anything on weeds that will kill them, use a 20% vinegar, which is very good for killing weeds and not affecting the soil. Okay. Mr. James. Okay. I'm glad you brought that up. That's some information you definitely want to pass along to other gardeners as well as myself. And all this gentleman did was pay attention to nature, and he started growing things naturally. That's what he did. Because a lot of people, what they do is whatever they read on a bag or something like that, they go by that. It's gospel. Like they'll say, when we first started seeing many years ago, Miracle Grow, grows plants beautiful, big tomatoes, Miracle Grow. And we fell into that. We started buying it off the shelves. I couldn't keep it on the shelves. And then we found out later, wait a minute, what is this stuff? People started looking at the labels and information got back. Wait a minute, this is a petroleum product. This is petroleum, the stuff I use in my car. So they say, wait a minute, do I want to be eating fruit that's grown from this or vegetables? And they changed their minds, and everyone went back to growing with organic fertilizers. And the only problem they had with fertilizers is that people tend, if you're using even natural fertilizers, people tend to use too much. When you use too much, even on the packaging, it lies to you. It'll say, use 1 cup. Okay, 1 cup. And it's telling you a measurement that works, but it's also telling you a measurement that will get you back in the store buying another bag of that stuff. because in the wild, plants don't eat ample amounts of food. They eat what they can find. They're like any other animal. When you add too much fertilizer to a plant, it affects how the plant grows. It gives the plant, the plant has a problem with eating too much at one time. It's like water. Water's great for a plant, but when you give it too much, you rot the roots, you can drown the plant, it dies. A plant drinks water like you and I do. They take a portion of water, drink, and then it's done. You don't have to flood the area to make sure it got water. But we don't know, so we make sure it's got water. And sometimes plants will wilt in the hot summer middle part of the day, and we automatically think that the plant's dying, when in fact it's using a process of ventilating itself so that it stays cool. And then as soon as the sun goes down, you see the plant perk back up. Um, best time to water a plant is in the early morning. That's the best time to do it. But if you have no other thing going on when you get home from work, then you can go ahead and water it in the evening. But morning is best. But we all have busy lifestyles, so we try to find ways to do what we need to do and still keep our gardening going. Hello, how you doing? So all you want to do is just a lot of what you want to do with your garden is use common sense. Just use common sense and base a lot of what you do with your garden on what you would like. If you say, "Well, I like a little bit of water. It's a little warm today," you get a little water. Use your finger down to your knuckle, poke it in the ground. If you feel any moisture down there, leave that plant alone. Don't put any water on that plant. Leave it alone. Um, but if it's you stick it all the way down and it's just as dry. And another thing I'm gonna tell some of you, and you're not gonna like this: stop tilling your soil. Stop it. You're ripping up the homes that the biology in your soil live. It wasn't meant to be done like that, folks. It wasn't meant to be done like that. I stopped 6 years ago. I pulled my beautiful tiller from the garage, looked at it for the last time, took a picture of it because we had a lot of good memories together, tilling through the soil, turning it into light, fluffy, and I thought I was on doing what's right, and I wasn't doing what was right. That's right. Nature never, well, yeah, never tills like we do. We go through it, rip up the soil, tear up the soil, and then when it rains, you see the little plate over it, and you see the cracks in the soil, and you wonder, dang, wonder what this is. It's just tilling you just did. Now you just destroyed all the homes that it took years for that biology to build in that soil, for the worms to create the tunnels and all of this sort of thing, and you just ripped that up in a matter of minutes. Now, once you get that done, then you can start putting on a bunch of man-made fertilizer. You have no idea what it does. All it tells you is it has three basic elements to it, and really, it's much more to fertilizer than just three elements. So if you can get a hold of some fish heads, put them down in the ground. Okay, okay, yep. The soil is the key to your garden, the very key, the very soul, if you will, to your garden. You you dig in the soil as little as possible. I use a chop and drop method, which means that when the winter's coming in, I go over my soil with that what they call it thing. It's a lawnmower or lawn tractor, and I cut everything down and I leave everything on top of the soil. Then it grows back, and I go back over it again. Chop it, break it down, break it down. That's what I do. Now, once this is done, again, what happens? Soil, the soil grows beautifully. All that organic matter lays on top of that soil, and the biology goes crazy in the soil, eating up everything it can get its tentacles on, so to speak. Now, you did a good job with food scraps with the grass clippings. Let me tell you something. The food scraps that you're putting in the soil is only as good as the source is coming from. But you're not hurting anything by putting the food scraps in there. But the tomatoes, the cucumbers that we're getting from the grocery stores, um, it's not much there. But keep using it because it's something there. It's something. The other thing you mentioned, which is grass. Grass is perfect. It's high in nitrogen, and it's perfect for using for your soil. Um, you're going to start using weeds. I know it when you see what my garden looks like this upcoming year. You're going to start using weeds because weeds is so it. The roots are very long. They go down quite a bit, and they tap into the soil. And those weeds send up valuable nutrients in their stems and leaves and everything. So I use all of that. I don't throw nothing away. I used to do it. I cut up branches off of trees, cut them into foot long pieces. I put them around the bases, a base, lower end of, let me get it right. The base of my tree, I just lay it on the ground around the fruit trees, and they disappear over time because the biology in the soil is eating up the wood, and it's sending the nutrients from that dinner and from there living there to my tree roots. That's what I do. I don't throw it away because I know that's what nature does. You go out into the forest, you'll see wood, you'll see leaves, you'll see grass, you'll see weeds, everything underneath the tree, everything is natural. And the tree, if you look up, the tree is growing beautifully. And it doesn't get any fertilizer from anybody once a year. Nobody goes out to the box store and sprinkle fertilizer around the tree. Yet they're doing fine. This has been the Morning Garden, ladies and gentlemen. I have to go because I'm thinking about getting to the grocery store before it's dark. I just want to get some milk. I just want some milk today. I always get 2 gallons at a time. But at the same, and on that note, folks, take care. I might be back up on here tonight. If not, I went to karaoke because I love my karaoke. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Morning Gardener. Have a beautiful and blessed evening. Thank you.